My name is Mark Rudzinski. I'm the Chief Product and Marketing Officer. And Ron Naveau, who's going to come up, is the Chief Technology Officer at cPacket. So just without further ado, how many of you actually watched the networking field day stuff that we did? Thank you, Tom. For the rest of you who, if you haven't, if you use the QR code up in the top, I guess I'm just using that for context setting because I wanted to know how deeply I need to go. So again, we've got 2 slides just to kind of remind people who we are and how we got here. And then we're going to talk through security. Again, this is the first time we've done security field day, networking field day that we did last summer. Again, we just went through a very deep dive in our full portfolio. So who's cPacket? We've been around since 2007, started off as a fabless semiconductor company, building chips to do hardware offload for grep or string search in real time. This was kind of a problem at the time. People said couldn't be done, so of course they went off and did it. Then there was a request for a lot of software and reference designs using these chips, so they said, okay, we'll just build a platform. And that happened in 2011. British Telecom took notice and really kind of put us on the map because that was one of the first 10 gig networks that was deployed. And so we were deployed at the London 2012 Olympics, again, for security purposes, right? So then Ron will come in and can give you all the context on that. The financial services industry took notice of that, said, oh, you guys can do nanosecond time stamping. Wouldn't it be great if we could do that because we're doing a lot of electronic trading and we need to know how this is all going. So, and then there was a request that came in, hey, can you also capture those packets, the PCAP, and so that we can analyze them later. So then that we grew into packet capture, network analytics, everything moved to the cloud, then everything moved back to the data center. So we end up with a hybrid solution where we can, no matter where your data is coming from, we can handle it. So our full portfolio is in the cloud, private cloud, public cloud, or in a data center. And now for the last few years, we've been spending a lot of time on working through the algorithms for our AI solutions. And that's going to be available this year. And so who are our customers? Our typical ICP, we were talking about this last night, our ideal customer profile, people who are zero downtime enterprises, people who just can't have their networks go down because there's bad things happen, whether it's a financial situation, whether it's a healthcare situation, it's a government agency. So you can see some of the logos that we got. These are the people that really care about packets, precision, and performance. That's kind of our 3 Ps, and we've added the 4th P now. I wrote a blog on it recently. You can check that out on LinkedIn about AI. And AI really is providing some of the context to your information there. So again, if you look at the customers that we have here, very much about financial institution, exchanges, healthcare adjacent, and government agencies. My last slide before we really get into the meat. You've seen probably a lot of articles being written lately about SOC-NOC convergence, right? This is more than just operational efficiency, where the CIOs and the CSOs are now merging into CISOs, and you have your IT people and your security people. It's really, you can't do one without the other anymore. We were talking last night. You can't secure what you can't see, right? So the security people need to be able to see everything that's happening in the network. And frankly, the network, you could have the best performing network. It's useless if it's not secure, right? So these 2 things are absolutely coming together. And what we're here to talk to you about is, again, we're unapologetically networking people coming to a security field day. And the reason we are coming here is because we believe, and we're going to spend the next 90 minutes showing you, and you can tell us how successful we were at the end, that the right network observability solution will augment and strengthen your security posture. We're not saying that we're replacing our security, the security tools that you use every day, but we can make them better. And so that's, throughout the presentation, we're going to go through different sections, and we're going to talk about how, whether it's through detection or through response or validation and compliance, the right networking observability solution can make all of those more powerful. And with that context set, I will hand off to Ron Naveau, who will now take us through.
First and foremost, I think what we've seen over the last years, 12 years, and as Mark showed, we have been around for a long time. I keep saying we're the best kept secret in the industry because we have all these big customers, but usually when I go into a room that I haven't been before, they don't know who cPacket is. Having said that, we have seen a lot of people using us for security purposes. right? Or basically some of the features we have to, again, strengthen the security posture. So what we'll do is we'll take you through kind of 4 sections. We'll actually follow the NIST framework, right? So protect, how we detect, how can people use us for detection. Detection will actually break into 2, so I'm a little cheating there because it's going to be 2 sections, even though it's one orange quadrant. How we can do it with when you know the threshold, and how you can do it with using AI. Then what can you do with our tools when a breach happens? And lastly, how do you keep your security posture up to date? Make sure that you validate and in compliance with whatever security instructions you have. So the way we think about things, and the reason that we think that the right network observability can help you get your security posture better, is that by design, when we were going after network observability, we had to make it pervasive. When we mean pervasive, we mean that we are able to get the packets anywhere. So we're able to run in a hybrid environment, and we're able to run on-prem. We are able to do it at 100 gig, 200 gig, 400 gigabits per second. We're able to look at trillions and trillions of packets per day. We're able to extract out of that millions and billions of sessions, and at the end, make sense of them, right? And we usually do that in order to understand if your network is healthy. The other advantage is because we are coming into this solution kind of from the top and from pickup. We have a pickup, what is it, pickup or don't, it didn't happen. It's independent, right? We are not counting on the logs and the information that is coming from the application. So if the application was compromised and somebody changed the log, we don't care. We still see the actual thing that happened. And lastly, it's scalable. Right? It's part of being pervasive. We are able to do things in very, very high speeds, and we'll explain in the solution why that is the case, which allows you to, at the end of the day, to get some things that are detect faster, have less false positives when you detect something, and being able to use the data if something happened to make sure that it doesn't happen again. All right, so that's all kind of very high level. We're going to use this kind of diagram to explain how we deploy and what we do things. So really our focus is enterprise. You saw the ICPs, governments, not so much telcos, right? So if you think about the enterprise and the network they have, it's in today's world very heterogeneous, right? They certainly have data centers. A lot of places they have collocations, branches, campuses, and cloud, right? Nobody else, everyone that we know of has both, right? So it's always hybrid. It's always a combination of public cloud, private cloud, and data centers. And really, when you think about network observability, it needs to be everywhere. So the way we do things is really about putting the monitoring points. So these will be the blue ones everywhere that is, every choke point that network is going through. And we have a centralized view and control that allows us to see, even though things are going to be very, very distributed, as I'll show you in a second, still collect them information into one place such that we can actually access it from one place and understand what's going on across the network. As we go to the solution, we start from the monitoring point, right? So the monitoring point can be taps, spans, virtual taps, anywhere that we can get access to packets. And the first thing we do is a packet broker, but it's really kind of undercall what the packet broker does in our case, because we are doing a lot of packet analytics at the port. So one thing that distinguishes our products on-prem from other products is that every single port in our packet broker carries an FPGA, an ASIC that does a lot of processing. All right, so we are able to inspect and count every single packet and do a string match on every single packet. All right, so that's a big difference in other architecture, and we'll spend a lot of time to explain how we utilize that. But it really means that one way to think about it, one of the devices we have is 16 ports of 100 gigabits per second in a 2U rack or a 2U box. So that can do 1.6 terabit per second of packet processing, right? Versus 100 gigabit per second in other cases. The second part of the solution is the packet capture, and again, it's calling it packet capture analytics. The unique thing about the architecture we have is that it's a very hard thing to be able to capture packets and send them to disk, right? I think we talked about databases yesterday. Being able to achieve 200 gigabits per second write to disk is a big challenge. We're able to do that. But at the same time, we're able to index the packets and we're able to analyze the packets. And the idea behind that is if you cannot do it in real time, in memory, you won't be able to catch up later. All right, so our devices, you'll hear me probably using the name C-Store at some point, really do all that up to speeds of 200 gigabits per second today.
Is that only for latency purposes, or can you see inside the packets as well?
We can see inside the packets. So both of these devices are able to see inside the packets, and we'll show exactly what. But the difference is that the first device counts packets, so you can see how many SYN packets did I have, how many CNAC packets did I have, how many client hello packets did I have. The second device also analyzes TCP and application level, so it can monitor session length, session duration, latency.
Yeah, but you can't see the actual traffic, the protocols, because I know that everything is encrypted. You can see inside that, so you can.
No. So we don't unencrypt data.
No. Okay.
But there is huge amount of metadata, and that's what we'll show. That is, in the handshake and in the DNS calls and ICMP and so forth. This information we do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't unencrypt data.
Okay. Thank you.
The next level is really the C-Clear, is what called. Actually, it does a few things. We capture everything in one box. The ability to collect all these metrics into one location, have the workflows done there. And so on the top right, what you're seeing is really the collection of the analytics, collection of the metrics, enriching of the metrics, running AI, machine learning algorithms on top of that. And on the right-hand side, you're seeing the ability to interact with the user. So we have dashboards, we have workflows, we're using Grafana on top of our interface. Some cases it's our own AI, our own API. And what we've been investing lately is really the ability to use LLM to interact with the data. So what you call agentic AI. And all that from the ground up was designed with open APIs. Typically it's REST APIs, sometimes it's MCP APIs that allows us to work with our ecosystem. So our ecosystem includes security companies like NDR companies that need the packets. They include SIEMs, Datadog, ServiceNow, and obviously the users. Again, our customers many times have their own pretty sophisticated security teams, so they build a solution around that. I will mention here the external object storage. It's not critical to what we're going to explain, but we have the ability to push both the metrics and the packets into an external storage that either helps us to get a very, very long storage or being native in the cloud, or the ability to run the AI on much more information than what we can do inside a single device. So that will be the end of the introduction. I think the whole idea is really about just to say, we have seen it in the real world working. People are using our features, even though we have never sold ourselves or we still don't come and say we're a security company. They basically take the features and integrate them. It was built to be pervasive and open, which helps us to deliver some security value. And the whole idea is really about, can you do things faster, more accurate, less false alarms, and be able to use the digital forensics that we can get from the packets to avoid future attacks.